I just want to say a few things about this worksheet that you're going to do to label the consequences. And I think these are all going to be reinforcers, but the same labels go on punishers. So, you have these categories, like a consequence can be immediate or delayed. Immediate means pretty much right after the behavior occurs, as opposed to some, hours later, even 10 minutes later would probably be delayed. Some of these may or may not have enough information to label it. So, just make sure you have that in your mind. That's a pretty easy category. But what you'll see in these columns is I want you to check the boxes that apply to each scenario. So it can be immediate or delayed, right? Then 1 and 2 is for primary, secondary. It's going to be one or the other. Generalized, only some things fall into that category of being a generalized reinforcer or punisher. It has to be a stand-in for other things. Good book, I think, uses the example, what does a good grade mean? Well, yeah, I got a good grade, but is it just that you see this A there, or does it stand in for other things like I'm proud of myself, my parents will be proud, I don't have to take this class again, I finished my degree. I mean, that grade actually represents multiple other reinforcers. So that makes it generalized. And that may or may not apply, those are a little more rare, but if the thing takes the place of other actual reinforcers, it's generalized. And let's give an example. If somebody says, oh my gosh, I failed this class. Okay, it's not the failing the class, it's what that represents. That's a generalized punisher for something like I have to spend time and money taking it again, I don't graduate, my parents are going to be really ticked off because they're helping me pay for college, or, it's these other things that are the actual punishers, and that, failing grade represents those. It kind of takes the place. Tickets, often, I think about like a Dollywood ticket. You want a Dollywood ticket. Well, who cares that you have this actual paper thing, right? That's not the reinforcer. It's what does that represent? Oh, I can go on the Screaming Eagle, or I can go on different rides, or I can, eat really awesome food, or play games, or go to a musical show. It represents multiple other reinforcers. That is what makes it generalized. And a lot of things aren't going to have that fit that generalized category. So that's just yes or no. And then you've got intrinsic or extrinsic, and natural or contrived. Okay, so I'll quickly say something about those. Intrinsic reinforcers are not things inside of you. That's not a synonym, or that you're born with. Intrinsic, all it means, here is what it means. So for some reason, students struggle getting this. When you say, why did you do that behavior? And your answer is, I liked it. I just enjoy the behavior. That's intrinsic reinforcement. Okay, so if you play sport just because you enjoy playing the sport, intrinsic reinforcement. If you enjoy reading, intrinsic reinforcement. Now sometimes we have to read when we don't want to, like our textbooks, and you're reading it just to get a good grade. That's extrinsic reinforcement. You're doing it for the grade, not for the behavior itself. So the reinforcer or the punisher is the actual behavior. That's when it's called intrinsic. Extrinsic reinforcers and punishers are things that come after the behavior. Okay, so that's all you need to know. You're labeling a consequence and you say, all right, is this consequence follow the behavior in time, or is this consequence the actual behavior itself? If it follows in time, it's extrinsic. If it is the behavior, it is intrinsic. Okay, I don't know how else to say that. Still, people put down, oh, I feel good inside, so it's intrinsic. No. Oh, okay. Anyway, natural and contrived. Think of natural consequences are things that are just automatic, expected, relatively normal, not that surprising, just gonna happen, normal outcome of a behavior. Contrived is something that's going to set up kind of special for you, or for this time only. If you come in and open a bank account, we're going to give you a toaster. Okay, that's not a normal necessarily, like you don't always walk in going, hey, where's my toaster? It's kind of a special deal, something we're doing extra to get you in to do that behavior of opening accounts, and that makes it contrived. Contrived things are usually, have a sort of limited time frame, because they're not always, if they're always there, then we might consider it a natural reinforcer. All right, the rest, stuff's in your book, so I want you to use the book to learn it and read it and not have to listen to me talk the whole time. But I hope you understand the worksheet. And there may be some things where we can argue a little bit or it's on the fence. That's okay. I just want you to get a good sense of these categories. And on the quizzes that you'll get, they won't be on the fence, and you should be kind of clear which label goes with what. That should do it.